Hey everybody, it's Angelique. I am back for another week of my weekly domestic violence awareness and action podcast called Silent No More. It is so good to see you guys. I was just here last week. Oh my God, last week was crazy. It was amazing, honestly. So anyway, let me start from the beginning because I'm already ready to go. Y'all know me. I am like high energy. And so, anyway, hello, all my courageous queens, my courageous kings, because that you are. To even tune in, you are courageous. A lot of our victims and survivors are trying to get out or stay out. That is courageous. It took courage for me to do what I did, which is get out of my situation. And so, anyway, I am here. I would like to welcome you to episode number 18. I can't believe it's been 18 episodes. Like, I'm losing it, y'all. I'm losing it. It's my weekly domestic violence awareness podcast called Silent No More. I am Angelique Pierce. I am the founder of Ladder Masters Inspirational Leadership Group, better known as Ladder Masters. I always tell people I only speak for 3 reasons. And if I'm talking for any other reason, then you are allowed to tell me to shut up. Number 1 is to bring awareness. Number 2 is to break down facades. And number 3 is to build conquerors. Those are the only 3 reasons why I'm here. I needed that in my life. And so now that I have it, I am passing it on to other people. So let me do a quick acknowledgement. You saw the commercial. Unique Blessings, nonprofit organization, so many amazing services, doing so much in the community. Again, that's Unique Blessings, nonprofit organization. I am a part of the UB Podcast Network, and UB stands for Unique Blessings. And let me just shout out a couple of the people that I work with regularly as a part of the organization. Miss Chantel Evans, girl, I know you somewhere. I know you somewhere on here or about to get up on here. Alonzia Briscoe, Johnny Allen, Cornetta Davis, author Q, who just released her book. We just did her book release party. Go ahead, girl. So proud of you. Miss Rhonda Burris, and also the one and only Mr. King Jacob Anderson. I think he's probably on here somewhere. He just texted me a little while ago, so he's probably somewhere on here already. But it's good to see y'all. What's going on? I have a lot to cover. But before I go any further, y'all know me. I need to pray. Prayer is so important to me in terms of my life and what I'm trying to bring to you. So let me just say a quick prayer because I need to make sure God is a part of every moment of this podcast every single week. So bow your heads. Father, I come before you just thanking you for yet another week, God. It's a holiday weekend, so we got extra time. That means extra time to spend with you, spending your word, thinking about you and thinking about your goodness. God, I know that not everybody's situation is good right now. Not everything is positive right now. From corona to domestic violence to sickness to mental illness, all kinds of things are happening around us. But you are still God, and we thank you for who you are in our lives. Father, I present right now to you any victim of domestic violence and also the survivors of domestic violence. It just doesn't end the moment they get away, Father, the moment they escape. I know there are many, many steps to healing, and this podcast is a huge part of my healing. So I thank you for planting that seed within me so that it can birth, grow, and I can share this light and this guidance and understanding with those who need to hear the message. So God, I thank you for all these things. We honor your name and bless you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay. All right. I see somebody made a comment here. I'm going to assume that's a hey. I hope so. Oh, it's Brother Arthur. Oh, that's my brother right there, y'all. That's my brother right there. So glad to see you on here. Listen, this is the time, y'all. Like, we are about to get into something that's so important, so important. So if you haven't yet, take a moment to stop, look down on your phone, your iPad, whatever phone you're using right now, and click share. Share it to your own page. Share it to a Facebook group you're a part of. Tag somebody in here. Tell them to tap in and watch this thing because I know you know somebody. We all know somebody or a couple somebodies that need to hear this message. So do that right now. Hit that share button. Hit that share button. Tap somebody in or share it to your page. All right. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. I told y'all, I prepare. Every week I prepare for y'all because this is no joke. And it's important that I do that because there are certain things I need to say in a specific way, and I'm going to say them that way today. So let me give y'all some background. Okay. On last week's episode, I celebrated my 44th birthday, right? Oh my God, it was phenomenal. And I invited 5 of the women. There's a lot of women and men that I could have invited, but I invited 5 of them who are really close to me so they can celebrate with me. It was Tanara, Rashida, Veronica, Renata, and Sarita, my 5 ladies who had a lot to do with my story. Now, many of you tuned in live, and I appreciate you so much. Let me just say a couple thank yous because I got to back up to last week. Thank you. Thank you because y'all made a sister feel real good last week. Thank you for taking that journey with me live, for your live comments, for all of that. I mean, it was really a phenomenal time. I know it wasn't the easiest topic. I know it wasn't the typical way that people share their they celebrate their birthdays, right? We like to drink and party, and we wasn't drinking, but I'm telling you, there was a celebration. And to understand that celebration, you got to understand the journey. You got to understand the journey. So, all right. So, and here's the thing. I know everybody couldn't come and tune in live, but some of you watched the recording and you added comments and you added messages after the fact, and they were still as powerful and still as meaningful to me. I tried to like them, love them, comment. There was so many of them, but I appreciate you. Each one of you, by doing what you do, by participating, by joining in, you are letting me know that the work that I'm doing has meaning, that the work that I'm doing is not in vain, that this is a message that needs to be heard. And so last week's episode was a lot. It was a lot. All right. If you didn't see it, I am telling you, you better go out and watch it. It was 2.5 hours, y'all. My podcast is supposed to be like an hour, hour and a half. It was so great that it took 2.5 hours to get that message out the way that it needs to come out. And it did last week. So if you missed it, you can go to my Ladder Masters YouTube page. You can go to my Ladder Masters Facebook page, even my Angelique D's Pierce Facebook page. It's on the personal page, or the Unique Blessings nonprofit organization page is out there as well on Facebook. All right. So let me recap. And this is important because I need us to all start off on the same page with the same understanding of what happened last week. That's important. Again, wasn't your typical birthday celebration, but I didn't need it to. I didn't need it to be that. I needed to have a very specific meaning, and it did. So those 5 amazing ladies that I mentioned last week, they were on the show with me. And they were women who knew me before my abusive marriage. So they were like my girls, like grew up with me, my girls, right? They suffered with me through it in their own way, from their own perspective, which is why I had all 5 of them on there. And then in their own way, they also all helped me heal after I broke free. And I mean it, broke free, just like that. They are still with me today, y'all. They are still with me, helping me heal today. All right, so those ladies were a part of the many people who helped me come back or bring me back to life. They did. And I'm telling you, let me say this to you. If that ain't worth celebrating, then nothing else is, because that alone was a victory on a level that I don't know how many of you can attest to, but I'm telling you right now, they helped bring me back to life. And I love them for that. So I got a few people I need to thank. Let me start with this. First of all, to my mom. Y'all know my mom. If you didn't know my mom, you need to meet her. She is no joke. So a special thank you to my mom, Regina Dees. I call her Marma. If y'all know me, y'all know I call her Marma. She has that quiet, regal power. And guess what? That dude never even saw her coming because she's quiet. She knows how to play that game, but she helps her baby. She would not let me fall. I got to keep going. Y'all ready? To my sorors, the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, specifically the everlasting Epsilon Gamma chapter of Penn State University, let me say thank you, because so many of y'all called, checked, came to visit me, sent money, did whatever, encouraged me, liked my post, responded to my post on Facebook when I finally found the strength to come out and say something about what happened to me. So thank you to my sorors. I love y'all. But wait a minute, especially to my line sisters from Spring 1997 Affiance. Oh, my line, my God, there are no words to express or to describe how down that y'all are for me and how much I love y'all crazy chicks. Oh my gosh, I love y'all. Look, my Sam's on here, Paula. Ooh, I know that's right. So listen, there's a lot of people. And I even got to thank a couple of the Qs. Check this out. To the brothers over Megan Side 5, there was a few of y'all that listen, y'all call and check and taking me out to breakfast just to talk to me because y'all just wanted to see me smile again. You just wanted to see me smile again. And listen, I'm a lady, I'm one of the QEs, and I know all about that uplift. And the bros was uplifting me. So thank you to y'all too. All right, there's so many people I could thank. Forgive me if I left you out. Gerona's on here. Thank you, Gerona. Thank you, Gerona West. To her husband, Arthur West. Y'all are phenomenal. Y'all help me. All right, so, but all I want to say is this. It's because of all of you, every single one of you, that I'm back, baby. I am back and I am happy to be here and to be with y'all tonight. Okay, so now I said all that stuff. If you haven't hit that share button, hit the share button right now. Share it to your page, share it to a Facebook group you're a part of, tag somebody in it, whatever you got to do. But I'm about to get rolling. And once I start rolling, y'all know I don't stop. All right, so here we go. Here's the key message. People talk a whole lot about the importance of our circle of friends. You know, when you think about it, it's like, okay, how important our network is. Why? Because that's a part of your vitality. That is a part of your joy. It's a part of your success. It's literally a part of your health and well-being. The circle, your network, the people who love you. That is 100% true. Well, guess what? Guess who else also understands the significance of your circle and your network? Unfortunately, abusers do. Abusive men, abusive women, they also understand the significance of your circle. My God, it makes me sick. They literally do every single thing they can so they can lock you in their world of darkness and evil and make you feel shame and all these things. And a huge part of how they succeed, a huge part of how they succeed is that they manipulate you and they isolate you. From who? From who? Why would they spend the time? They spend the time because they need to separate you from anybody that will give you strength, that will be your light, that will remind you of who you really are, because they need you to think that you are who they say you are. Listen, don't get me started. Don't get me started. They want you completely weak, confused, off balance, unsure of yourself, broken is where they really want you, to the point where you can't recover. That's where they really want you. So they can what? Take complete control of you. Your mind, your body, your money, your relationships, everything. That's what they want to do. That is their end game. Now, I'm gonna leave off the word broken because my line sister Hava, my Sans Hava, she says, Sans, you were not broken. You were bent, not broken. I said, come on now, you better preach it, girl. Was that a church moment she had? You are bent, not broken. So I'm gonna leave off the word broken. But all those other things I said, that is exactly what happened to me. It happened. But it didn't just happen to me. It also happened to those 5 ladies who were on the show with me last week. Now, they said some things that I knew about, that they experienced, that they saw, that they felt, but they said a lot of stuff that I did not know they saw or felt. Ah, that's right. Bent, not broken. All right. So last week's episode was powerful. It was heavy. But let me tell you what it also was for me. It was also freeing for me. So yeah, I cried. I told you I don't care if people see me cry. I'm the ish. I don't care if people see me cry. But it was so much. And yet at the same time, it was everything I needed. So let me say this. Over the course of the last week, I have been thinking about the things they shared with me. I've like stopped. I think I played that recording like 4 times, y'all. I talked to Paula. I talked to all these people. I had all these conversations. I talked to Renata again, to Nara again, so many people again, so I can reflect and bring to you this week my reflections and my resolutions going forward. So I've named this week's episode The After Party. The After Party. Reflecting on the wisdom of my sisters. So I'm going to keep going. Okay. Here's a few things that were specifically said last week. I actually said this. I said it didn't just affect, these are my words, it didn't just affect me, it affected all of them too. This is your experience of my story. We don't think about all these things, right? We don't think about how important our network is. We get detached from them because of being lost. And I said, in a situation. We get lost in situations. Isolation is a very specific tactic used by abusers. These are words I said last week. How do I separate her? This is the abuser's mindset. How do I separate her from everything that was her strength? That happened. But check this out. So as I was preparing, I remembered this particular thing that happened to me. I remember my ex-husband at the time. He was, I guess, my boyfriend or whatever you want to call it. I thought he was courting me like the right way, like they're supposed to. Anyway, I remember him saying, I want to meet the people who love you. Now stop right there. Y'all heard what I said? He said, I want to meet the people who love you. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's time. Let me stop being silly. It's time. He wants to meet the people who love me. Wow. And when you hear those words, what woman isn't like, oh, this is awesome. Like he wants to meet the women, the people that love me. Right? That's what I thought. You see that smile. I was like, that's just so sweet. No, that's not the reason why he wanted to meet the people that love me. I had no idea that the real reason he wanted to meet them was so he could size each one of them up. That's what it was all about. He wanted to decide, okay, let me see that person. That person lives too far away. Can't really do much to help her. She doesn't talk to that person that often. Ain't got to worry about that one. Oh, but that one, that little crazy one, what she calls herself, the Broad Street Bully. That's what Tanara said. That one right there, her. So here's the thing. I see it like this. He literally wanted to set them up like pins and at the end of a bowling lane, right? Like at the end of a bowling lane, and he was working on his strategy, right? He was going to strike, how he was going to hit that strike. I got to knock them all out one way or another. It's just crazy. So I want to give y'all, this is my teaching moment, okay? Y'all know I got to go and I got to do the research and bring y'all back some stuff to hold on to. It's important. All right. So what I went through, what a lot of abusers do is called social isolation abuse. Think about that. Social isolation abuse. Let me give you the definitions. I'm reading here, okay? Social isolation abuse is behavior that aims to cut you off from your friends, your family, and your community. That's the whole purpose of it. It also often involves attempts to harm your relationships, or get this, because he tried this with me too and threatened it a lot, your reputation. So not only does it attempt to harm your relationships, but attempts to harm your reputation. I went through a lot of that with him, especially threats of, I'm going to put this on Facebook and I'm going to tell people this and that and the other, and all the lies and the stuff that I just can't even understand how a person spends that much time. Like if you just put that much energy into like being a good person, do you know how phenomenal you be? Like try a little harder to go to the other side of the spectrum and actually be good, a good person. Gosh, but anyway, social abuse is a form of domestic or family abuse. Social isolation abuse. That is the word, okay? So it's systematically controlling who you see, who you talk to, and even who you receive phone calls from, messages from, and even email. It's that deep. And y'all know about social media. Oh my God, I can't tell you the number of times I would see a post on social media that I did not make, but it was out there saying things like, Happy Father's Day, you're the best dad ever, or yeah, all that kind of stuff. Love you, whatever, birthdays, just to drive me crazy, controlling everything. Oh my God, hear me, y'all. This stuff really happens. Like, it's not just the movies. So let me give you some more examples, because you know why? Sometimes you can't see yourself until somebody else speaks it to you. Sometimes you can't really picture that that's you. Oh no, that's not what's happening at my house. I mean, he did that, but he didn't do that. Let me read a few more for you. So maybe I can come bowling down your lane and you can hear something that sounds like familiar to you, or familiar about a friend of yours or a relative of yours. So you can say, no, that is called social isolation abuse. Stopping you from seeing friends, family, or other people. Not allowing you outside your home, your room. I've been in that situation. Couldn't even get out my bedroom. I had my book bag on, my purse on my arm, and another bag. Wouldn't even let me out the bedroom. Are y'all listening to me? Can you please move out the way? Can you please, I have to get to work. I've been through that. Not allowing you to participate in social and community activities. My sorors would tell you that I disappeared for a while. They will tell you that. That was hard for me. But you know what? They love me and they're welcoming me back. And God, I just, anyway, I love y'all. All right. So needing to know everywhere you have been or you are going. Needing to know everyone you have seen or you're planning to see. This is real stuff, y'all. This actually happens. Checking or interfering with your mail, your phone, your email, and your social media. Been there, done that. Sharing private photos or video of you online without your permission. That didn't happen, but I got threats of that happening. And I also found pictures of myself that I never knew were taken of me. This stuff is psychotic almost, y'all. All right. Using social media or the internet to spread lies or damaging information about you. Telling lies about you to friends and family and trying to turn others against you. If I could preach that one from the hilltops, I would do it. That's my story. Deliberately doing things to make you miss or be late for events, appointments, or meetings. Yes, absolutely. Deliberately doing things to make you look bad or embarrass you in front of others. Restricting access to your own car. I hope y'all heard what I just said. Restricting access to your own car. Yes, I know what that's like. Yes, I know what it's like to have my keys taken and my car almost taken, but I jumped in and I went all Philly. I couldn't take it. I said, wherever you taking this car, I'm going. We're going to fight for them damn keys. I'm going to get them back. I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm getting them back. And I did. All right. My hands got bloody in the process, but whatever. I got my keys back. Restricting access to your car, other forms of transportation, wheelchair, mobility aids, you name it. All kinds of stuff go on, okay? If you heard yourself in that, this is the moment to stop saying, no, it's not me. Listen, my friends, my girls were on last week trying to express things they saw that they said, maybe I didn't really see that. Maybe it wasn't what I thought it was. No, it was. It was what they thought it was. And even for me, it was some of these things what I thought it was. But I didn't have the definition. I didn't know, what is it called? Social isolation abuse. I didn't know that was even a thing, right? I had no idea. So I'm defining it for you so that you can see it and you can recognize the signs and you will know the signs for yourself or even for someone else that you love. So you can help and you can speak up. That's what I'm here to do, to help you guys bring more awareness, break down all these facades, these lies and these misunderstandings, and turn every single one of y'all into conquerors. Every single one of you. All right. So now I'm gonna keep going. Y'all got comments in here. Let me see who's talking. Oh, Paula. We love you. I love y'all too. I love y'all too. I love y'all too. All right. So the first question I asked my ladies, I said, tell everyone your name and then describe how we met. So this is now back to the actual show. I said, tell everyone your name and then describe how we met and how we know each other. And the point of the question was really for y'all to get to know them, right? It was designed to let them sort of introduce themselves to my audience, my viewers, and in a fun way, which was like, how y'all meet her, right? Because it's like, woo. And what Tanara say? I met Shorty. I met Shorty in kindergarten. Like, that's crazy to know somebody from literally 5 years old. But yes, their answers were hilarious. They each talked about how they met me, and they also shared the different nicknames that they had for me. And I was known as everything from Shorty to Special from my special big sister Veronica, to Leek, which is just half my name, right? And then Nana, which is a special little name that my friend Sarita calls me. All right, so here's the thing. I'm gonna get a little deep and philosophical for y'all for a second. Nicknames. I love nicknames. I call Paula Paula. I call my soror Charisse Charissimo. I love nicknames, right? I just do. All right. So nicknames originate from different points of view, right? That the people have of you. So maybe it's a quality that you have. Like, for example, somebody might call somebody sugar, and it's just because they think that person's sweet or whatever it is, right? Or maybe there's like a physical attribute where people call people, hey, what's up, Slim? Right? They're slim, they're tall or they're thin or whatever. In my case, it was Shorty, right? It's Shorty. Now, I am not short. First of all, I'm number 12 in a line of 13. I ain't short, but I used to be. So, and my dad says I was the shortest thing in the house at the time, and I became Shorty, which I just love that. He named me that. So a nickname is really a reflection of how others view you, right? They give you this name, and also it starts to mirror how that person sees you. I just love them. I think y'all can tell. I think they're just sweet. But I want to tell you guys something. You know, when you think about getting into a new relationship with people, you get nicknames too, right? They call you Bae and they call you baby and all these things, and they seem so sweet and endearing. And some of that stuff is real. But I will tell you, I got called those names too. I thought I was someone's bae. or someone's baby. And I thought he was the same. But I will say this, and I say this a lot to people. Take your time. The one thing that abusers cannot stand, they cannot stand it, is time. If you slow them down, they can't stand it. Why? Because it's only so long they can hold up that facade. They can't, because who they really are is going to hit the fan. You need to wait them out. Take your time. In my story, we talked about me moving in with him too soon. Take your time. All those names, we like to feel that endearing stuff. Oh, he calling me baby now, and he said he loved me now. And we are so quick. We want those feelings. We want those nicknames. We want them. But if I can tell you anything, let me tell you this. Take your time. I know it's hard, especially for people in the church. We're going to get to the church in a little bit, because you are taught to wait till marriage, right? And you trying to wait for that dude. And when he show up, you like, thank you, Jesus, right? Like, so he's like, hallelujah, right? And you are excited and you are grateful because he showed up. But let me just tell you this. Everything that glitters ain't gold. Take your time. Figure them out. Ask the questions you need to ask, because just because they call you bae or baby doesn't really mean that's what you are. So just keep your spidey senses up. I think mine got turned off somewhere in the process, but I'm going to tell y'all to keep them up. All right. The second question I asked him, I said, at the time when I had moved to the Carolinas and I was moving for my job and I was doing this whole corporate climbing thing, I asked them, I said, if you had been asked to vote for a girl most likely to marry an abuser, would you have voted for me? So this part was so good. It was so, I'm telling y'all, if you didn't see this recording, find yourself a moment where you got to like clean the house, put your headphones in or whatever. I don't know, but watch this episode. Watch it. Here's what a few of them said. Renata said, when I met you, you were a complete and utter boss. I couldn't believe she said that, but it made me feel so special. She said, so even with the things I was seeing, internally, I fought against my own feelings because it didn't line up. Veronica said, when I started getting that inclination, I denied myself, like, no, she's happy. I don't want to be the jealous type. I love these comments. They were so real. Like, did I see that? She said, did I see that? Did he say that? Why did she flinch like that? It's all the things Veronica said. What was most frustrating for me here? She said, why didn't I say something? She said, what made me keep giving the benefit of the doubt all the time? How much did I just keep giving someone your loyalty? She's talking to me, your loyalty who didn't deserve it. They were just riding on your credit. That, that whole concept just blows it all up. Rashida said, sometimes when I heard your voice, I would compromise and I would think, no, that can't be it. It's just me. I'm overthinking it, questioning herself, questioning what she saw and felt. She said, and I was dealing with my own issues as well. So I'm like, am I projecting my own issues onto her? All right, let me stop right here just for a second. Oh, Nicole wrote Angelic Y. Yes, that's her nickname for me. Hi, Renata. Renata is on here. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, that's my Unique Blessings fam. All right, so here's the thing. I'm going to say a bunch of stuff. Renata, Veronica, Rashida, they all had something powerful to say, but those three specific comments just hit home for me. I am of the opinion, here's me, now I'm speaking. I am of the opinion that women, we don't share enough with each other. We do not. We don't. And I mean, I'm like, we need to really get comfortable with this idea of being vulnerable with each other. And I know you can't be vulnerable with everybody, right? You got to kind of test the water. They got to be proven, right? But we got to stop thinking that we have to battle each other. That's not what this is all about. It happens. I know it happens, but I need you to stop and look at your circle for real. Look at the people around you for real. There are some that need to get out the circle, but there are some who really do mean you well. And so women, as women, we tend to keep things quiet, don't we? We're like, well, I don't want to say nothing yet because I don't want to jinx it. Don't we do that? Jinx? Do people still say jinx? I don't want to jinx it. But sometimes it's not even that. It's that we feel like we're in competition with each other. Why? I mean, I guess I get the statistics that there's like so many women to every man. I don't know, but really though, like we gotta stop that. So we need to be a lot more comfortable with being vulnerable with each other and stop thinking that we have to battle each other. That's not what this is about. I want you to imagine just for a second, how much heartache you might have been able to save one of your girlfriends from experiencing. If you had just been 100 straight up with her about what you were actually experiencing, what you really went through with that boyfriend, that last boyfriend you had. If you were just 100 with her, straight up, I want you to imagine how much you could have positively impacted that teenage girl down the block. Y'all know her, whatever her name is, her. If you had really talked to her and told her some of the truth about what you've learned about guys and boys and sex stuff, we got to talk to each other. We have got to share more. A lot of that is what I got out of my podcast last week. We've got to talk to each other more. All right, hold on. I got some comments coming in. I don't want to miss any. Terms of endearment. All right. All right. Sarita said it best when she said this. Listen, y'all. Sarita last week, she said, you have to be so confident in your relationship with people that you give them the permission to say and come to you, that they can come to you and tell you, she called it the hard stuff, that they can come to you and tell you the hard stuff, that you can come and talk to me and tell me the stuff that I may not initially want to hear. Do y'all agree with that? That you have to be so comfortable in your relationships with people that they know, and you know likewise, that they can come to you and you can come to them with the hard stuff. All right, Renata made a comment here. It's because we're taught to play everything close to your chest, that everyone ain't your friend. Now, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Now see, that's tough, that they're after your happiness, that everyone is judgmental. Wow. You know, what's crazy, Renata, is, and thank you for being on the show last week. What's crazy is there's truth to all of that. There's truth to all of that. But the question is, how do we figure out who's really down for us? How do you spend the time? Do you ever broach conversations that seem awkward and try to just to see how people react to them? Sometimes we got to do some of that. Some of that is, were they there from the beginning? What have y'all been through together? What happened when you were at your worst or you were dealing with something? How did they respond to you, right? But I agree, vet your friends. I do agree with that. I do agree. All right, so Sarita continues. She said, I may not even like it or appreciate it at the moment, but because I know your heart, here we go, Renata, here we go. But because I know your heart for me, your love, and that you may have the best intentions at heart, I know it's not coming from a place of insecurity or even jealousy. I'm saying it because something is off. You're not acting the way you used to act. So let me ask y'all a question. Do your friends, the people you hold close to you, do they know that they can come to you and say, hey, Nicole, hey, Chantel, hey, Renata, last week you said something to me. Paula, last week you said something to me that just didn't sit well with me. Can we talk about that? Where are y'all? Can you do that? Because if you can, and your ladies, your friends, your family see you dealing with someone who they don't think is healthy for you, that they are starting to see you having unhealthy interactions with someone that can lead to abuse, then they will know that they can talk to you. They will know that they can come to you and tell you. My girls are my girls, right? But they felt like, oh, I don't want to ruin her happiness, or I don't want her to think I'm being jealous, or maybe I got so much going on with me that I'm projecting my mess on her and I'm seeing something in her situation that's really just my situation. What do y'all think about that? Tell me, can your friends come to you and tell you the deal? Can they come to you and say, I don't like him. I know you like him, but I don't like him, and here's why. Something's not right with him. I need you to get to the place. This is me straight up talking to y'all. Get to the place where your closest friends, where your family or people who are observing you, that you say, hey, listen, I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to be my accountability partners on this one. I have one. Her name is Chantel. I want y'all to be my accountability partners on this and talk to me about what you see. And I agree to tell you what I got going on and when I don't feel good and when I feel off. All right. So anyway, hold on, wait a minute. Shelly, oh my gosh, Shelly. Even that is difficult at times because of the hold that guys have on you. Okay, so that's coming later. But you know what, Shelly? I'm gonna talk about it right now. She's right. Tanara said it. Tanara talked about, I'm gonna just go ahead and skip to the next question because She talked about, it was question 3. I said, when was your something just ain't right about him or this relationship moment? When was that moment for you? And Tanara spoke first because she was the person that felt it first. So I want her to go first. She shared the story of when she came to Charlotte. She literally took a trip to Charlotte from Florida just to meet him because he was living in my house and she knew I ain't never lived with a guy before ever. And what's this all about? And why he moving up in your spot? And why can't he move you up into his spot? Okay, so you get it, right? So she was the friend that was like, I need to talk to him. So she came to Charlotte just to meet him. And at the time, he was still my boyfriend, I guess. I remember she said, I sent her upstairs so Tanara could talk to him one-on-one by herself. And I wouldn't be standing there like, eavesdropping or whatever, or what they say, ear hustling. And she said she knew from that conversation, that very first conversation with my now ex-husband, she knew that something was off with him. She said she knew it. But guess what she also said? She didn't tell me. She didn't tell me. She kept it to herself. Now, we still talk about that moment to this day. And she says, I wish I would have told you, but, I don't know that if I would have told you, if it would have made a difference. And you know what? She's right. I don't know. She doesn't know. None of us know if it would have made a difference. Hi, didn't you know most? Okay, I'm just reading some messages. Okay, so here's the thing. I want to say this to you. Here's my instruction moment. I don't care if they don't do what you want them to do when you tell them. But what I want you to do is tell them. Are y'all listening to me? You can't guarantee one way or the other. She couldn't guarantee one way or the other. And she talks about today how she has regrets for not saying it to me. And I have nothing against her for not telling me. She wanted me happy and she was hoping that I was. Let's put it that way. She was hoping that I genuinely was and that this thing was real. But something in her gut, knowing me and knowing what she talked to him about, she knew it was off. All I'm going to say to y'all is this. I don't care what they do or don't do after you tell them. But my God, tell them. Because sometimes when you plant a seed, you think they didn't hear you, but it stays with them. They go to sleep at night. They wake up, they dream about it, whatever. And the very next interaction is now going through a new filter of, wow, why would she feel that way? Let me pay attention differently now. So Shelly, thank you. Yes, even that is difficult at times because of the hold that the guy has on you. But my hope is that you would tell your friend, you would tell your family member as soon as possible, because the more time passes, the more of a hold the guy has on this. And my hope is that you tell them at a point when they see it clear enough, they're not quite taken all the way down that path. I'm talking, y'all. It's because I went through it. Like nobody told me. Nobody flat out said to me, he's abusive. He's done it multiple times to multiple women. You need to get away from him. Don't do this. No one said that. And I wish someone did. God, I feel like I was owed that. I was owed that, but it was not given to me. So, all right, there's a lot of comments. Hold on. Thank you, Shelly. I don't know. Hi, did you know most abusers don't change? You ain't got to tell me. I just told y'all that the person I married did it multiple times before me. So, yep. All right, Renata, we have to be willing to say, I love you enough. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Comment of the night. We have to be willing to say, I love you enough at the risk of you being mad that your safety and well-being is more important than us being at odds in that moment. Are y'all seeing this comment? Ladies, read that, because we don't want to say, we don't want to tell it. We ain't ready. Oh my gosh, if I just tell us what's going to happen. We have to be willing to say that I love you enough that I will risk us being at odds in the moment for the sake of your safety and your well-being. We have to be willing. Oh my gosh. Y'all are on tonight. Y'all are on tonight. I love y'all for this. Love y'all for this. All right. So Tanara, again, she said, looking back at that conversation, she said, I sealed my fate with him, meaning he knew he had to get her out of the way because she was a powerhouse, and she is, y'all. She a little thing, but she a powerhouse and he knew she was going to protect me at all costs. He knew she was going to do that. He knew that Tanara would have ruined his whole plan of manipulation, power, control, and abuse. He knew that. But I want you just to stop for a second. There was a plan. He had a plan: manipulation, power, control, abuse. And I would just like to pause and say the fact that a person has a plan to do these things is so sick and so twisted and so calculated and so evil. I want you to be clear about something that I tell y'all all the time. People are like, oh, well, he was angry and that's why he did that. Or it's because he was drinking and that's why he did that. I'm calling bull on all of it. I'm calling bull on all of it. Abuse is a choice. Did y'all hear what I just said? Abuse is a choice. If you hear nothing else, I said, listen, put that in your mind. It's a choice. Every day they wake up and figure out how they're going to stop you from being who you are, how they're going to take your light down one more level. It is a choice. Trust me, I know. It is a choice every single day that they can make a different choice the next time, but they don't. And that's the problem. Don't get it twisted. All right, so here we go. Comments. God says if we see someone heading down destruction, we're responsible to help them see the view. You know what? I don't know exactly what scripture you're referring to, and we don't have to know that right now, but if you do, I'd love for you to share that one. But the point here is, how do you watch someone? How can you stand back and just watch? And I don't mean this like for the story with Tanara. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you know that someone is there to hurt someone else and will likely hurt someone else. Yes, responsibility, accountability. Step up and say something. All right. So, unfortunately, according to the story, as you guys know, my ex-husband succeeded in manipulating me into thinking that my best friend, since 5 years old, okay, he successfully manipulated me into thinking that she really wasn't being successful of supporting me for my wedding, that she was really in no hurry to meet our new baby, that he used all of these situations to his advantage. And listen to me, I get mad at myself sometimes. Like, how did you not see that, shorty? Like, how did you not see that, shorty? Like, that's Tanara. Like, people that don't even know Tanara because I'm like, Tanara, how did I miss that? And it drives me up a wall, but she's forgiven. I've forgiven. We don't go down those paths like that anymore. But let me tell you the ultimate proclamation that brought the whole house down between me and Tanara. You probably heard it if you caught it last week. He gave the ultimate declaration, proclamation, whatever the right word is for it, when he said, no, she's not. She is not going to be my daughter's godmother. Do you have, now listen, I know some of y'all take the godparent thing real serious. I don't think y'all understand how serious it was for me and her, because I'm the godmother of her daughter. And it was that's a big thing for us. And he figured out that if he caused this rift right here, if he made it impossible for me to, like, if he wouldn't accept her, and then what was I going to do? I can't be like, well, I don't care what he said, this, you, right? That was the ultimate crush. That is what actually caused the actual demise, the big argument that sent us our opposite direction. It was terrible, y'all. It was terrible. I have never had any kind of argument like that with Tanara ever. So I'm saying a lot, y'all, but he was able to drive a wedge between her and I that I pray you guys never experience. But I want you to understand that it isn't about him, right? I'm using him as an example, but I would tell you, like a friend of mine said, put a paper bag over his face. It ain't about him or his name or nothing else. Put a paper bag over his face. I need all of you to recognize the personality and to recognize the tactics. I am on here every week because I tell people, if I could just save one, if I could just make a difference in the understanding of just one of you, just one, put a paper bag over that face. I don't care if his name is Devin, Kevin, Steven. I don't care what his name is. I don't care. The name doesn't matter. What matters is, can you recognize the personality? Can you recognize the tactics? Can you recognize the signs? Can you recognize the flags? I tell you my story, not because I needed to be told like that, like, oh, this is, ooh, how sensational. No, I tell my story because it's the thing that's in the dark. Domestic violence, domestic abuse is the thing that's in the dark. Nobody knows what it really is, or what it looks like, or how it happens over time with these little tiny things that happen. So I tell you, because if I don't share my story, you miss the signs. If survivors don't tell their stories, you miss the signs. And I refuse to let these moments pass, where if you could just recognize the signs, you can step back before you end up in a full-fledged abusive relationship, married with a whole baby, divorcing, fighting for your finances, fighting for your life, fighting for your daggone sanity. That was me. I will never, ever, I will never be in that place again. And if I can help you never be in that place, I will make sure I will do whatever I can. Call me if you have to. 855 we survive. 855-937-8784. 855 we survive. That's my toll-free number. Call me, seriously. All right, I'm gonna keep going because I got to get to a really important point, and I've got a few minutes left to do that, and I'm going to just skip past some of these things, but I will tell you this. Let me take this off the screen. Ooh, Lord Jesus. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'm just going through a couple of comments. Abuse is a choice that becomes a lifestyle. Woo-hoo! Wait a minute, Jacob. Hold on. Sorry, I'm gonna go forward in just a second. Read that comment. Abuse is a choice that then becomes a lifestyle. You know why? Because it worked the first time. Ooh, I didn't get locked up. I didn't go to jail. Let me do it again. Ain't nobody say nothing. Ain't nobody check me. My family ain't say nothing. They just went along with it. Ooh, let me do it again. Yes, because it works. Whatever they're getting from it, whatever power, control, money, whatever it is, it becomes a lifestyle. Hashtag big facts. Absolutely. Pin that one right there. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. All right, here we go. All right, so let me just say this to you real quick. I didn't understand where all the cracks were in my dam, right? I thought I was this. I was corporate living, driving this, living in this kind of place, working for this kind of company, flying to this event, flying to that event. I had my education. You couldn't tell me nothing. If I applied for a job, in my mind, I'm getting it right. I'm this, that. I think I'm kind of cute, right? I know how to dress, whatever, right? I smell good, whatever, right? I think I got it going on. I got my girls, my family, my mom. I had never been married, never had any children, none of that. Okay, my turn, right? I've done all the other stuff. It's my turn, right? My turn to get married, have kids, right? Yeah. No, I wish. Shoot, my baby is my baby. Love her dearly. So, y'all know who she is. But I wish it didn't happen that way for me. But he saw, listen to me, y'all. He saw the cracks in my dam. He figured it out from conversations. He asked me a ton of questions about myself. Pay attention to that too. When someone asks you a question and almost keeps asking you, and you feel like they're asking you more about you than they're actually sharing about themselves, pay attention to that. They're asking you more about you than they are actually sharing about themselves. Pay attention to that, because they are trying to figure out, oh, I can't get her through that. Oh, darn, she's strong there. Oh, but that thing she told me, boom, I'm going to hold on to that, put it in his back pocket for just when it's time, when I'm ready. My question to you, to my audience, to my viewers, and this to the guys too, not just to my ladies. Do you know where the cracks are in your dam? Do you know where the cracks are in your dam? Because if you don't, yes, strategy, and oh my God, Renata is pouring into this today. Do you know where the cracks are? Do you know those places in you that aren't quite healed, that you need God to do some work, that your girls have told you, girl, you need to watch out, because when you do that, that worries me, that your mom has said, baby, you kind of always do that, and that's dangerous, or that's not okay. Why are you that way? Why do you think that way? Why do you keep going back to that place or that person? Do you know the cracks in your dam? Because if you don't, they will be exploited. And that's what happened to me. And I thank God for all of you that helped me to seal them up. Because, hey, yes, isolation. Yes, isolation. Y'all, it is a strategy. I appreciate y'all tonight so much. I'm going to keep going because I got to get to this part. Okay, so this is the last part of the night. I'm going to go a little over, and that's okay. Y'all typically stay with me for about 15 minutes after, and I appreciate y'all for that. I really do. So my question, listen, real quick. I had like 8 or 9 questions, and we got through 4 of them. And at the beginning, I said, I don't know what's going to happen with these ladies because they don't follow directions. And they all laughed. But guess what? They ain't follow directions. I knew it. They did not. Renata did not follow directions. But let me tell you something. Because Renata did not follow directions, because she didn't follow my directions, but she followed the direction of God. Thank you, Renata. Gosh. Because she didn't follow my direction, but she followed the direction of God, who spoke very clearly to her about what she needed to say. I asked the question, I said, the question number 4, I said, do you remember ever feeling extremely worried for me or even scared for me? And Sarita told this whole story about how it was the night I escaped and the sheriffs were trying to find my ex-husband to serve him this protection order. And I didn't know where he was. And I was just scared and I wanted to be hidden. And Sarita and her husband took us in and kind of like hid us until we knew everything was all good. So Sarita tells that story and we go on and on about the story. And then somewhere in there, Renata changes the whole thing. And she says, she brings up the point about domestic violence and the church. And when I tell y'all, I wasn't ready because I said, don't talk about that, y'all. That's still painful for me. I don't have a place for that yet. So I don't want to talk about that, but she did it. And you know what? I talked to Tanara the next day and she said, I hope that conversation just took a little layer off and made it possible for you to start talking about it. So guess what? I'm going to talk about it a little bit today. I ain't fully ready. There's some things that I won't say, but there are things I'm going to say right now. That's very important about domestic violence and the church, because we have got to talk about this thing. I have so many feelings. God clearly told Renata to speak, and she did what was needed. Let me say a few things. 1 in 4 women, are y'all listening to me? 1 in 4 women experience domestic violence in her lifetime. I want you to stop and think about every statistic you've ever seen. Cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, I don't care what. Think of every statistic you have ever read or heard in your life. You tell me which of those is 1 in 4. Maybe you know one. 1 in 4 is only the ones that are reported. I promise you that statistic is worse. 1 in 4 women. I don't care if you count it out at a restaurant. I don't care if you count it out at your job. Try counting it out at the church. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably her. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably her. This is real. So what does that say to you? What it says to you is we need to talk about what is happening, because it doesn't just stop at the church, because when you walk in the door, there's something extra holy about it and nobody gets abused. It's happening at the church too. It's happening at the church. So get ready for this. Many of these women, they sit in church every Sunday. They are right next to their abuser, who's probably their husband, who they probably have kids with. That was me. That was me. Sometimes the abuser is even known to be an abuser. Gosh, this is so hard. Sometimes the abuser is even known to be an abuser and known by the church leadership. Yet nothing is being done about it. I'm pausing between statements because this is a lot for me, okay? It's a lot. All right, so yes, Tanara, if you are watching or listening, that was definitely a first step. So let me just say this, because I'm getting there, y'all. This is hard. The specific feelings I feel are betrayal. That's a huge one. Huge. Literally like a sheep led to the slaughter. Literally, I'm saying it because I feel it. And then abandonment, simply abandoned. I felt thrown away. I did. I was so lost, y'all. I was so lost that my faith in this entity called the church was completely shaken. I could not attend. I could not watch church online. Nothing is how bad it was for me. Now, like I said, I'm not ready to talk about all the specific situations that led up to those feelings. I will get there one day. I'm not there yet, but this is still important stuff. And there's some things I just need to say about domestic violence and the church, because if I don't say it, if I don't start to communicate this, then I'm not doing what I said. What did I say I was doing? I'm here for three reasons: bring awareness, break down facades, and build conquerors, whatever that means. That's what I'm here to do. Period. Okay. So there's a lot of myths out there about domestic violence, domestic abuse in the church. First of all, one of them I can't stand is that submission is going to solve the problem. There is a myth that more submission, being submissive, will solve the problem. That does not fix a thing. I need y'all to understand that there's relationships and then there's abusive relationships. They are two very different things. And the stuff that you've always learned as a child or understood about people, they don't play the same. They don't turn out the same in a situation of abuse. It is a different animal. What they say, a horse of another color. All right. Totally different. So while some pastors are providing caring counsel when the women come forward, there are many, many victims that hear the same like answer. It's like on repeat, that when they're trying to ask for help, they hear these same answers. Well, you've got to, according to the Bible. Well, you know what? Being submissive to an abuser is like, I don't even know how to explain that. When it comes to domestic violence, pastors often do not know how to respond to victims, but not knowing does not excuse you from figuring out how to handle it. Does not excuse you. So when a church is affirming a man's like role and they're abusive and there's this hierarchy of submission versus whatever, when the church is affirming that, you have no idea what that is doing to a victim of domestic violence. That kind of stuff might work perfectly fine in a healthy relationship. But when you are in an abusive relationship, submission to an abuser is like giving them a license to abuse even further. Are y'all hearing me? It's like giving them a license to do it. Myth, next myth. Domestic abuse isn't as bad as domestic violence. Okay, let me just say something. People tend to think that domestic violence is only what y'all see in that movie, What's Love Got to Do with It. We all saw it. We all saw the Tina Turner story. Absolutely. Absolutely, what she experienced was domestic violence and abuse. But just because you can see the black eye, just because you can see the broken nose, the busted lip, that isn't only what domestic violence is. That isn't only what abuse is. Abusive behaviors like calling people's name, shaming them in front of their children, criticizing what she wears, controlling the finances, forcing her to have sex. Stop right there. That is sexual abuse. And for those of you who don't know, yes, a husband can sexually abuse a wife. Don't get it twisted. It happens in marriage too. There is a such thing as rape by your spouse. There is such thing as forcible sex by your spouse. There is a such thing as adding so much pressure to a woman to make her have sex with you that she just gives in. There is a such thing as that. Okay? All right. So all those things typically lead to those other violent behaviors that we talk about or that we see all the time all over the place. Myth number 3, if an abuser is truly sorry and forgiven, the relationship should be reconciled. All right, now, let me just say this to y'all. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to keep going for about 15 minutes. Statistically, I don't know if y'all know this, statistically, victims will return to the destructive relationship to their abuser on average 7 times before they leave for good. Did y'all hear that? On average, 7 times before they leave for good. That is a lot. So when I always talk about this with averages, right? Y'all know math. Y'all went to school. That means that there's some below that only took 3 times, 2 times. There's some above that took 10 times, 12 times. Scary stuff. Let me just say this to you. Back to what the point was. The myth is that if an abuser is truly sorry and forgiven, that the relationship should be reconciled. Let me just say this. Nah, bruh. That does not mean that. Don't say should be nothing when it comes down to an abuser. If a church leader is requiring the victims to forgive, It's requiring the victim to forgive and to reconcile. If you're doing that, then you don't fully understand the scope of trauma. If you are requiring victims to forgive and to reconcile with an abuser, then you don't understand trauma. You don't know what you're doing. You need to close your mouth and stop putting women and even men who get abused back in harm's way. Stop focusing on the victim. And if y'all can hear me, I am so tired of people talking to the victims. I need you to man up, okay? Man up and talk to these abusers. Get with them. Find your courage and get with them, because they are the ones doing the dirt. They are the ones destroying whole families, children, and communities of people. I want to see y'all get with them and stop doing things like focusing on the victim and asking her or him to what? Fix the abuser? To what? Fix the situation? Freaking possible. It doesn't work that way. All right. Sorry, y'all. This is a lot, and I'm just letting it go. Okay. Let me put a couple comments on here because y'all talking to me, and I want to make sure I respect that. And make sure when they say something in the past, they really through being that kind of person. Oh, okay. For example, when a man say he used to be a ladies' man, it may not be in the past. He just hasn't been able to fool another woman in a while, and let's not let that woman be you. Listen, I am in the habit of, y'all hear me? I am in the habit of running background checks now. I am in the habit of, hey, listen, you said you graduated from that school? I want to see that certificate. I want to see that diploma. I'm sorry, that house you said you own? I want to see that. Where is it? Let's go see it. I'm in the habit now of checking. I check. I need first, last names. I need more information now. And you know what? It's okay to do that. Paula, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I need it. Heather. All right. Thank you, Heather. And some of these women are first ladies. Consider that and believe it, because I knew one personally. Heather, you are right. Some of the women who are being abused are first ladies. What does that mean? That means the pastor is abusing. And let's take it down a level. Maybe it's not the first lady, but I promise you, I know of women who the deacon is their husband and they are being abused, and the whole darn church leadership knows about it, but everybody's glossing over it. Let me just clarify one thing. I am a Christian woman. I am back in church. Y'all heard me pray at the beginning of this. I pray every single time I do this show. Don't get it twisted. I'm not talking about every church. I'm not talking about every pastor. I'm not talking about every deacon. Do not get it twisted. Don't question it. My faith is real and it's on time. But I need to talk to y'all about some of the things that people won't. Because people won't do it. It remains a secret. It all stays in the closet. Nobody talks about it. And guess what? Next thing you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. The next woman. 1, 2, 3, 4. And guess what? Guess what? These abusers, they don't live on an island, right? It's people around them watching them do all this stuff. They are watching them abuse women. They are watching them destroy families, children's lives. Yet they get done with that one and they move on to the next one. So that one person, that one abuser is hitting multiple women. And if the woman is an abuser, then that woman is hitting multiple men, abusing multiple men. The same person doing it multiple times, because we don't see it coming. We don't know the signs. Nobody's talking, and I'm sick of it. This podcast is called Silent No More. I ain't silent no more. I'm done with it. I've been there. I lived that for 6 years and 2 months. It will never happen again, ever. And if I can do whatever I can to make sure it doesn't happen to you, or if you've been through it before, that it never happens again, I will do everything I can, because it's that important. Because sometimes there are kids watching. God. Sometimes kids are watching, and they shouldn't have to. They should never see it. They are innocent, but they should never have to watch, ever, ever. Oh, gosh. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for listening. I'm going to keep going. Okay. Some more takeaways. One of the main reasons that women stay in abusive relationships is financial. That's one of the main reasons. Okay. So I just want to say a few things. If you have a church or you attend church and y'all can't figure out how to help when a situation of abuse is happening, let me help you. Let me say a few things because I don't want to hear anymore. I didn't know what to do. We weren't sure how to handle that. Again, I'm calling bull. Let me help out. Ask yourself, is it a church member? Is there one church member somewhere that has a rental property where a woman and her children can stay? Ask yourself that. Churches have many members. Ask yourself, are there coaches or counselors on staff who can help them create a plan of action? Ask yourself that and make it happen. Will the youth pastor and the children's minister step up to provide emotional support for the children? Ask yourself that and make it happen. Make it happen. Are the elders willing, y'all listening? Are the elders willing to confront the husband? Are they willing to do it to help him address his issues? Did I say that? His issues and work toward his emotional healing. Take that person, that abuser. You need to address them. Stop making these women feel like they got to sit in these counseling sessions with these fools who just sit there and listen to the conversation and go, all right, wait till we get back in the parking lot after this car. I'm going to tear her up in that car. Y'all got me in this counseling session. Oh, yeah, I love her. Yep, I'm going to do the right thing. Watch, I promise I'm going to read this word right here and I'm going to pray and yep. And when we get in this car, you'll know, but I'm going to tear her up in that car. Wait till we get home. Stop making victims do that. Couples counseling is not for a situation of abuse. I don't know how else clear to say that because the abuser simply manipulates everybody in the whole situation and then afterwards makes it worse for her when y'all leave. Hear me. Are the elders willing to confront the husband to help him address his issues and work toward his emotional healing? Does the church have a benevolence fund to help the victim pay rent, electric bills, or the cost for counseling? Are y'all stepping up? Or are y'all leaving her to figure it out and drown in her pain and in her struggle? I'm not accepting it anymore. I'm calling it on the carpet. Is there a food ministry to provide meals for the victim and her kids? They need to eat. They are struggling. And in most situations, in most domestic violence situations, there is financial abuse. Listen to me. I know. Thank God for the people who gave me money. My line sisters, Veronica, all these people that helped me because I was struggling, trying to pay for an attorney, trying to pay for all these things, trying to take care of me and my baby. In the middle of this craziness, I needed that help. Where was it? Does anyone own a business that needs an employee? Who can help her find a job? Y'all got members. Help these women. Help them. All I'm saying is this. Don't turn a blind eye and act like nothing is happening. Help her. Help her. She deserves it. She needs it. And another question you can ask is, which women in the church that have lived through domestic abuse will come alongside of the victim and provide emotional support? I think I said like 10 or 12 things just now. You can't tell me the church can't help. You cannot tell me the church cannot help. You can't tell me because I know they can. Step up and help. And the other thing I want to say is, if you know, you got to tell people. You got to tell people. All right. All right. Gosh, it's a lot. Okay. So let me say this. I'm going to bring this to a close because it's 8:10 and I got much time left. I want to say this in closing. That domestic violence is violence. I don't care if the word domestic is in front of it. Cut it off if it helps you. Get rid of it. Domestic violence is violence. It is a crime. Are you listening to me? It is a crime. Okay. So you want to let the people see that you are serious about taking a stand for domestic violence? You want people to think you're serious about taking a stand for domestic violence? Call the police. Do one of the 10 things I said earlier. Even call the police for her. Help them get a protection order. And when you know a man is abusive, when you know a woman is abusive, when you know it, because you know, then you need to warn these women. You need to warn them. That's what you need to do. Women deserve to be protected. And there are so many kids who are also suffering because of this. They get in these toxic situations. So what am I saying? What am I saying, y'all? What am I saying? I'm saying do something. I'm saying do something. Don't just let it happen. Don't just watch and act like, oh, well, if I don't say nothing, then, it's not really happening and she'll figure it out. And why don't she just leave then? No, stop. You got a responsibility. Do something. All right. So I'm just going to close out. I have forgiven me. I told y'all, like when I cry these tears, it's because I either realize something in the moment or I am celebrating or it's me releasing pain. But I have forgiven myself for what I went through, for even what I feel like I allowed sometimes, right? But that is what makes it possible for me to speak to you every Sunday. That is what makes it possible for me to be here. And if you are a survivor, it's my closing message. If you are a survivor, you also have to forgive you. Even a victim, if you're in it right now, forgive you. Like you got to start with you. None of us are perfect. None of us make the right choices all the time, but we have to forgive ourselves for who we are or who we were or what we even did when we were, what is that called? Surviving. We have to forgive ourselves for the times when we were just trying to survive, because there are things that I did or said that I almost can't believe I did or said. And I wasn't proud of those things. But guess what? I was surviving every day, surviving. So in closing, let me just give some perspective. I want to read a poem to y'all. It's actually a poem that Sarita introduced me to way back in college, right? All right, way back in college. I'm going to read it from this piece of paper, okay? Oh, wait, I can't. That's hard. There we go. It's called After a While. It's called After a While. Y'all ready? Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to get rid of that comment if I can. Okay. After a while, you learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. And you learn that love doesn't mean leaning, and company doesn't always mean security. And you begin to learn that kisses aren't contracts and presents aren't promises. And you begin to accept your defeats with your head up and your eyes ahead, with the grace of a woman, not the grief of a child. And you learn to build all your roads on today because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans, and futures have a way of falling down in mid-flight. After a while, you learn that even sunshine burns if you get too much. So you plant your own garden and you decorate your own soul instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers. And you learn that you really can endure, that you really are strong, that you really have worth. And you learn and you learn. With every goodbye, you learn. And you learn and you learn. With every goodbye, you learn. I learned a lot. I hope that meant something for some of y'all here. I'm going to check these couple more comments. It's a disease on so many levels, and we have to stop hiding behind the cloak of anonymity. If they were bold and cold enough to abuse, then they forfeited their right to privacy. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, come on now. Heather, you know what? Me and you, we need to talk. we need to have a whole different conversation. Yes, no more what goes on in this house. Thank you. Thank you. We do that. We tend to say things like, well, what happens in here stays in here. That saying we all like to say, no, no more of that. We're going to stop that nonsense. That is a bad philosophy. All right. So I am at the end. You are a phenomenal audience. I don't know how to be more thankful for all of you because you're just amazing to me. So I will be here next week. I haven't figured out what my topic is next week. I got so many things I want to talk about, but I'll pick one. But I promise you, it will always, yes, thank you, Heather, because we need to talk. All right. I love y'all too. I mean everything I say. And just stay with me because this is a journey that I'm on. I don't know where God has taken it. I don't know. But I can't get off this ride. Like I can't get off. And I'm good with it. I am like strapped in. And I'm just going to ride this roller coaster wherever he takes me. But I tell you one thing, it's going up. That I do know. So I love y'all. Thank you so much. I will see you next week, Sunday, every Sunday going forward, because I need to be here for you, for me, for everybody. Okay. All right. I'll see y'all soon. All right. The after party. All right. See y'all. Good night.